A second one, and that is still a Baba deck that I have used extensively in the decade, is the Fantastic Menagerie Tarot, Fantastic Menagerie Tarot from Baba Studio, still from Baba Studio. This is one of their earlier decks, and I mean, I cannot get enough of this deck. It's beautiful, it's funny, it's witty, it's a very smart rendition of the Rider-Waite system, and I cannot get enough of this deck, and I've been using it a lot during the decade, and I still use it a lot. Katie Flowers has very interesting videos about this deck. This deck features in several of her videos, and she has a good walkthrough, I think, in her unboxing video of this deck. So if you are interested, please check her video. And I really like this deck, and I hope that one day Baba Studio will decide to reprint it. I don't know if they will, but if they will, I will get a new edition and a new copy for sure. So, okay, so I just wanted to, so that's, of course that's more than 5, but I also wanted to give a few shout-outs to some decks that, when I was going through my collection and trying to decide which were the 5 decks I had used the most in the last decade, there were a few runner-ups, and I'm going to try and be very fast. The Golden Tarot by Cat Black is a deck that I have had for a lot of time, a long time, and I placed this little card inside the box saying it misses some cards, and I have written the cards that it misses. Initially it only missed the death card. The other cards went after. The problem with this deck is it's a beautiful deck, and it's one of my of the earlier decks I bought in the decade, I think. And it has a special place in my life because it actually changed the way I behaved with my decks and my cards. I was using this deck, and one day I realized that I was missing the death card, and I don't know when I lost the death card, and sometimes I suspect that I never had the death card. Sometimes I think that maybe when I bought the deck it was already missing the death card, because the thing is I cannot even remember what the death card is supposed to look like. So I suspect that I might never have had the death card. Maybe the deck came without a death card. And before that, I have always been very careful with my decks. I always use a spread cloth. I always wash my hands. I'm always extremely careful with my decks and how I treat them. And most of my decks look new, even the older ones actually. But I was not freaking out about losing a card. Since I realized that I had lost the death card of this deck, or maybe that I never had it, since that day I started frantically counting the cards of all of my decks all the time. I always count the cards when I purchase a new deck, which I didn't do when I purchased that one. That's why I suspect that